Some disappearances happen in silence. Others leave behind a trail of questions. But few are as disturbing, chaotic, and haunting as the final hours of Brandon Lawson. This is the true story of Brandon Lawson. Brandon Lawson was a 26-year-old oil field worker from San Angelo, Texas. He was a father of 4, a partner to Lawson, and by most accounts, a responsible, caring man. But like many people, Brandon had been through his share of hardship. He had struggled with substance abuse in the past. He had run-ins with law enforcement. But in the months before his disappearance, he was working hard to turn things around. He had passed drug tests at work. He had reconciled with family. Things were far from perfect, but they were getting better. Until the night of August 8th, 2013. That evening, Brandon and Ladessa had a fight. It wasn't unusual. The couple had been under stress for weeks. Financial strain, parenting challenges, long work hours. It all built up. Brandon left the house around 11:54 p.m. He told Ladessa he was going to his father's house in Crowley to clear his head. He took his truck but didn't take a charger or overnight bag. He was angry, impulsive, but still communicating. Shortly after midnight, Brandon called his father and brother Kyle. He told them he was driving north on Highway 277, a dark, desolate stretch of road that cuts through Bronte, Texas. But around 12:30 a.m., something went wrong. Brandon called Kyle again. His truck had run out of gas. Kyle offered to help and, along with his wife, left home with a gas can to meet Brandon on the roadside. At 12:50 a.m., something even stranger happened. Brandon dialed 911. The transcript of the call remains one of the most confusing and debated pieces of evidence in the case. Here's what Brandon said. "Yes, I'm in the middle of a field. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. The guy's chasing me into the woods. Please hurry." Then what sounds like rustling, footsteps, maybe wind. "We're not talking to them. I accidentally ran into them. Just the first guy." His voice grows more frantic, and then silence. The call ends. When Kyle arrived minutes later, he found Brandon's truck parked awkwardly on the shoulder. There was no sign of a crash, no blood, no broken glass, and no Brandon. Kyle called his brother. To his surprise, Brandon answered. He was whispering, said he was bleeding, said someone was after him. Kyle begged him to come out of hiding, but Brandon said he couldn't. Then the line went dead. What happened next has puzzled investigators and internet sleuths for over a decade. Law enforcement arrived on the scene not long after Kyle. They found the truck, ran the plates, and assumed the driver had walked off on his own. They didn't treat it like a crime scene. No K-9 units, no immediate search. Brandon was officially reported missing later that day, but by then, the trail had gone cold. In the days and weeks that followed, the area was searched extensively. Helicopters, search dogs, foot patrols, nothing. The terrain was brutal, rocky, covered in brush with steep hills and deep ravines. Temperatures soared during the day and dropped quickly at night. It was a place where you could disappear easily, especially if injured or hiding. But still, no trace, Not a shoe, not a phone, not a footprint. Theories flooded in. Some believed Brandon was high, hallucinating or paranoid, and fled into the wilderness. Others were convinced he had witnessed a drug deal or crime in progress, and was silenced. A popular online theory suggested Brandon had a warrant out for his arrest and ran to avoid police. That part was true. He did have a warrant. But would that really explain the 911 call? The panic, the fear in his voice. And what about his call to Kyle, whispering, bleeding, hiding? There was something else going on, something that still doesn't make sense. Brandon's phone records showed he had made over 20 calls that night, to his brother, to Ledessa, to 911. Even to friends. None of the calls after 1:19 a.m. connected. His phone went dark, his body vanished, and time moved on. Brandon's family didn't stop. Ledessa posted flyers, Kyle organized searches. The case gained traction online, Reddit threads, podcasts, YouTube videos. Everyone had a theory, but no one had answers until 2022. On February 4th, 2022, nearly 9 years after Brandon vanished, a volunteer search team discovered human remains on private land, just 3 miles from where Brandon's truck had been found. DNA testing confirmed it was him. Near the remains was a pair of shoes, a cell phone, and fragments of clothing. The discovery brought some closure, but not clarity. The location had been searched multiple times in the past. So how had they missed him? Was it overgrown? Was he moved there later? And most importantly, what had actually happened? To this day, there is no official cause of death. The Texas Rangers closed the case, ruling out foul play due to lack of evidence. But skeptics remain. Theories of murder, cover-ups, cartel involvement, and police mishandling continue to circulate. Some believe Brandon was a victim of circumstance. Others believe he was targeted. But the truth, it died with him. Brandon's family now has a place to mourn. His children, once toddlers, are now in their teens. Ledessa still speaks publicly about his case. Kyle continues to share updates online, hoping his brother's story doesn't get buried. Because this wasn't just a missing person. This was a man who was heard, who begged for help, and then disappeared. Some stories fade quietly. Others stay with us, echoing across time. This one is the kind you never forget. What do you believe happened to Brandon? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy true mysteries like this one, subscribe for more, because sometimes the most chilling stories are the ones that really happened.